This is the brief on the economics of electricity pricing. You know how we've always been told to turn off the lights to save money? Well, this comes from an idea called the myth of the light switch. And it turns out that's not quite how it works, because electricity doesn't really follow the usual rules of supply and demand. So first up is something called marginal pricing. Here's the deal. The price you pay isn't the average cost. Nope, it's set by the very last power plant they had to fire up to meet demand, and that one is almost always the most expensive. So if you turn off a light, but that pricey plant still needs to be running to keep the grid stable, well, the price just doesn't budge for anyone. Second, let's talk about scale. I mean, it's a huge factor. Your household lights, especially with modern LEDs, are just a tiny drop in the bucket. The real power hogs are things like heavy industry and huge data centers. A few of us flipping a switch just isn't enough to make them shut down one of those big, expensive plants. And finally, it's all about timing. Your light switch can make a difference, but really only during specific peak hours. That's when turning things off might, just might, prevent the grid from having to use an expensive peaker plant. You know, those emergency gas generators. Outside of those moments, it's mostly a symbolic gesture. So what it boils down to is this. Electricity prices are set by the physics of the grid, not so much by our good intentions at home. We don't need darker rooms to lower prices. We need smarter systems.